We're going to talk a little bit about what I'm already seeing with this new format and some of the early data from Kongs today. So make sure you guys smash the little crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. So I've been watching probably 4 hours into analyzing and looking at what we're already seeing out of Kong's tournament and kind of how this early format is supposed to be shaping up. And I gotta tell you, man, Radiant Typhoon, Radiant Typhoon, Radiant Typhoon. There is every sort of splashable variant. You want to watch, Yummy Radiant Typhoon? That was something that we've seen a couple of competitive players talking about, but it appears to be one of the more consistent approachers to the top of the meta. Well, what about using the Radiant Typhoon package as a, rank 3 package? You can do that. You want to use it to bridge into different engines? You can do that too. Radiant Typhoon kind of has a little bit for everybody, this format. And I think it's one of the reasons it's going to be kind of a scary package that we're going to be looking at for, I think, a lot of this format. It's going to be kind of sticking around kind of as a little bit of a meta challenger in, the forefront of things. Now, is Radiant Typhoon going to be the big bad in the room? It just might be, honestly. You might be looking at Radiant Typhoon as a package across the field in multiple different variations that is going to be, winning. Now, I guess the next question is going to be, is pure Radiant Typhoon going to be the king? Is it going to be the Yummy Splash variants? How many MSTs are we going to see? Is backrow, with Radiant Typhoon entering in to the spotlight as some of the big challengers here, is MST going to really detour players from wanting to play backrow this tournament? These are the questions that I am very curious about, because when you have got MST running around, that means that players are going to be more scared to want to try to use things. Now, I mean, you've got very famously Vanquish Soul, who's loved playing, There Can Only Be One as probably one of their powerful house floodgates. But I mean, does that floodgate actually matter in the current day and age? If, I don't have, if I've got MSTs just being pulled everywhere. A single MST on this search package, you've got multiple ways to search it. It's not restricted to once per turn. I really do think that Radiant Typhoon right now is going to be probably one of those decks that you're going to look at and you're just going to be like, again. And I think things would have been a lot worse had we kept the Featherstorm in the format, honestly. So if this is any confirmation to you from what I have seen today, I am pretty impressed with how the deck is playing. Now, does that mean that, oh my gosh, Radiant Typhoon's the best deck in the room? No. Not. It's one of the best variants of things that we're going to see. And I can't paint the full picture for you until I see the entirety of Top Cut and I get to see these other cool ideas, being painted right now, because that's just not what we're seeing. We're just seeing a lot of Radiant Typhoon in the forefront. Now, obviously you've got Albaz and friends up front and center as well. That's been a pretty common one to see. Draco Tail Albaz was predicted to be the best deck, and I think I still kind of agree with that. Don't listen to what, you've got other players that are being extremely vocal in the back are trying to tell you. Right now, the picture that we're being painted is, Draco Tail with Albaz and friends is one of the most incredibly easy decks to work with. You just got to be very careful with the branded lock. You got to remember, you have cards that fusion lock you for the whole turn, not just after this card's resolution. I.e., please see the text that is written on, the very, very powerful branded fusion. If I was able to activate, the Albaz, do the synchro play, and then slam down branded fusion, we would have a completely different ball game, I feel like, in terms of a meta that would be presented in the current day and age, and that's just not the case. All right, because of those locks existing, you know, you can navigate underneath. I have seen the Zorowa and the Spenta getting you access to the Ecclesia, because Zorowa is a tuner monster. Like, if you want a reason to consider playing the Crowley stuff, you consider it because it gives you quicker access to the level 8 side of things. You know, the Crowley being the add back, but I mean, the Zorowa ends up being the key component to that. And that's fine. I mean, that's what we need to be seeing. We need to see bits and pieces of that to be the center piece for that strategy. And I do think it works out. So I can safely say that I think branded Draco Tail is going to be one of the, if not one of the most toxic decks of this format, just because it does so much. And that's always going to be the case, right? It's like, if you're playing the Magic stuff, you have way more consistent access to the other synchros. If you're playing, you know, just branded with it, I mean, you've already got access to 2 branded fusions. The new Fallen of White's job is just to open up the consistency for what you can try to do with the deck a little bit easier. I mean, come on, guys. This is the kind of stuff that we like to see within these formats, because it just gets so freaking crazy for what these boards are supposed to be working with. So I do kind of like that. You got some craziness. Now, the other big thing that I've seen is Yummy dead? The answer is no. One of the most infamous builds that I think I've seen popping up was the fact that you could build Radiant Typhoon with Yummy. And this is all massively possible because, you know, the Tri-Brigade stuff actually allows you access into the other side of things. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's because, you know, you've got access to Wing Beast and Beast monsters through the Radiant Typhoon stuff, which suddenly is changing your perception of this, because now you're bridging one engine into another while jumping through several different hoops. And it's kind of a scary thought, actually. It's kind of impressive. Once again, I mean, we come back to the same patched up, you know, discussion that we had earlier, and it's like, all right, well, how good is Radiant Typhoon right now? It's looking like, if I had to just judge strictly by what I'm seeing in the very early side of things here, I swear that Radiant Typhoon is about to just be one of the scariest things that you've seen, and you're about to be impressed. But to count things out like Yummy is incorrect, because I think Yummy as a package in its own form is going to evolve a lot of the meta. And also, we've talked a lot about the twin Storm Dragons, Sheena and company. I do think that card, being able to clear off backrow and being able to clear up an entire field, that is the level of craziness on a card during the opponent's turn that I think players are not going to be expecting to deal with, or they're just going to have to accept the fact that this format is going to be a format, no matter how big of a field you're building, or no matter how craziness it is, there's going to be so much wide swing of tempo between the different packages and the different engines and the different levels of advantage that are being built up in this format that, you know, one card can generate upwards to 3 to 4 cards of advantage. And that's kind of a crazy thing to think about when you're looking at the swings of variance within the game, advantage-wise. I don't really feel like you get to see that in a lot of other formats. And just looking at like the very early stages here, it looks like the tempo swing is going to be pretty interesting, honestly. So I think it's one thing I'm going to definitely find, you know, quite good, is just tempo swings of advantage. And this is probably going to be a pretty skillful format too. I think a lot of players are going to be very shocked at, you know, the tempo swings of this format might actually be generating, but we'll have to wait and see. So what are you guys thinking right now? We're still in early thoughts, and that's just fine. Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you. Ah!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.